Hey, Albuquerque Gardening. I'm Alan. Today is June 14th. Yeah, right. Yesterday was Friday 13th. Hopefully nobody was unlucky. What we're going to do today is we're going to listen to my dog bark in the background while we do a plant update, and one of the plants has got to go. We're running out of room. So let's check it out. Okay, well, the plant is filling out. Things are a little bit asymmetrical. Last week we had a little bit of yellowing on a couple of these newer leaves here, so we did a nice thorough feeding of 15 gallons worth of master blend mix, the Epsom salt with the calcium nitrate, the regular mix, did that. Added some extra fish fertilizer, some kelp, some molasses, some of the gonzo microbes, and yeah, that seemed to help. So some of that yellowing has gone away, and let's get a little closer. So I was noticing some of these vines were a little stunted, and I'm assuming that was based on the lack of feeding. So lesson learned, do a soil test next year so that we know what we're working with and we can amend so we don't have things like this happen. Other vines were growing a little bit better than that. There still seems to be a couple that are a little bit stunted. Case in point right there, that's supposed to be a vine. It's not really doing anything. So I think we're going to have to let some tertiary vines fill in. And further down the line, things are looking better. Like immediately opposite side of this weird stunted vine, we have a nice long one that's kind of going out there, and a little bit further down these ones are starting to go. So I think that feeding, I actually did I think 2 feedings last week of that stuff, so it's helping. We're trying to also track growth. So in terms of tracking growth for these side vines, I have this stick here, this stick here. I try to come out every day about 4:30, 4 o'clock, something like that, and just mark the growth of where the tip is at. That way we know where we were yesterday. Same thing here. Oh, look at that. All these little baby pumpkins that are wanting to start growing. Yeah, so we're getting about, on these side vines, probably 4 inches a day, roughly, of growth. So I'm sure we can do a little better. We'll feed a little more calcium nitrate tonight, more fish. Side vines here are starting to fill out on this side a little more. Great sign, like to see that. And as you can see, we are burying, so we're benefiting from those added roots. Last week we did have a couple windstorms overnight that came in and kind of did some stuff, but I finally figured out the absolutely correct way to support these leaves so that there's no rolling over in windstorms. So that seems to have helped prevent some damage from the wind. Support the leaves. And I have seen some discussion about keeping these tendrils on the plants. And look at that, it's acting like a kickstand like other people have been saying. And so I am stopping removing those. I don't want to speak too soon, but I'm hoping the majority of our crazy winds are done with, but you just never know. So today we are about, let's count how far we are. Each one of these is a foot apart, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, about 13 feet out. Yeah. Main vine, 13 feet out. Look at that. We have our potential keeper. And I say potential keeper because, one, at this point in the season last year we had a pollination. And we had a pollination earlier this week, but it was only 7 or 8 feet down the plant over here. I ended up taking that off. I'll show the clip of us cutting that open. Check that out, a little cross section, you see seeds. As far as the main vine growth, we're getting about 7-8 inches a day roughly, and it seems to kind of be picking up a little bit in that regard. These tendrils are nice and long too. Really like how far these are stretching out, so I think that's the plant showing me that it really appreciates those feedings I gave it last week. I'll do another one today, really start pushing this plant, you know. Looking at the growth tip, I have been looking in here every day very carefully. I'm not really seeing another baby pumpkin on the horizon, and we're starting to get, you know, it's the middle of June. I want a pollination. We'll still be early compared to last year because we're going to aim for doing a weigh off in October instead of State Fair in early September. So we'll have some extra growing time, but these 100-degree days are coming. I think tomorrow's supposed to hit 100 degrees, so, you know, I was hoping to get a pollination before that started because it's said that it's harder to keep a pollination or to pollinate on 100-degree days, so, well, we have the mist system. We'll configure the settings to maybe be a little more frequent and less time per cycle. Maybe every 10 minutes or something like that, do a minute instead of having every 24 minutes for 2 minutes. Panning to the other plant, both of these by the way, 2083 Bledsoe. Yeah, so this is our other plant. It's kind of been smaller the whole time. Not doing great on the vines, but look at that, we had a little female flower open today with a nice long stem. So it gives you a kind of a insight into what we're going to be looking at next week. That pumpkin flower on this plant should open in the next week, so it's time to start preparing. So these plants are getting real close to each other and we'll start to kiss in the next few days. So I think what we'll do today, we'll take this plant out. Very sad. And it has taken a long time, but there are some vines starting to come out. But you know, this one never really did anything. It's in a shadier spot because of these trees here. The juniper there, got a juniper here. So things are just, you know, not ideal for this plant. Which is great if we end up growing a pumpkin over in this area because it'll be a little more shaded. Anyway. Yeah, so I'll set up a tripod and we will take this thing out. Sad news. You know, something else I should note is that since we're using the systemic insecticides on these plants, I have been going through every evening and cutting off the flowers that are about to open the following morning, the middle flowers anyway. That way we don't harm the bees. So don't harm the bees. If I were a misleading YouTuber, I could use this picture as like, how to grow a giant pumpkin on sand with no water. But I'm not going to do that. This is sad. Look at that. Felt like I had to give this plant a little salute to send it off. No one wants to have to kill a nice healthy pumpkin plant, but now this patch is yours to grow in. Anyway, that's pretty much the update for this week. Things are moving pretty quickly, and if things stay on target, we'll have a pollination next week, and the plant will take over, and we'll be nice and happy. We can get a foam board set down, we can get some sand set down, break out the big king-size white sheet, and cover that thing. So, if you enjoy this video, please like and subscribe, and I appreciate you checking it out.